Welcome to science. I am on page 139 in your book, and we're going to talk about ways that the earth changes. In this unit, you're going to know some fast and slow ways earth changes, especially the words weathering and erosion. So those are the words we're going to be looking for. Go ahead and follow along with me in your book. Changes on earth. Earth is always changing. Some changes happen fast. A truck digs a hole in the ground. This is an example of a fast change. Other changes are very slow. A river flows through land. The flowing river carries away bits of rock and soil. This changes land slowly. So what we have is we have the truck moving the soil, and that's a quick change. If someone's building something and you dig a hole, it's going to be a quick change. The water moving through things is going to be a little bit slower. So this is the Colorado River moving through the Grand Canyon, and it's making the Grand Canyon deeper and wider. So down here at the bottom, it tells you that you need to underline a way Earth can change fast. So up here at the top of the page, make sure that you underline a way Earth can change fast. And down here, you're going to write how the truck is changing the earth. What is the truck doing to make the earth change? Okay. Page 140. On this page, we're going to talk about earthquakes and volcanoes. All right, so in your book, you can follow along with me on page 140. Earthquakes and volcanoes. Earthquakes happen fast. An earthquake can cause land to crack. Buildings and roads can be damaged. Volcanoes cause fast changes too. Volcanoes can erupt. This sends gas, ash, and other materials into the air. Rock and ash from a volcano can cover land. So here in this circle, you have a picture of an earthquake. It's not an actual picture of the earthquake itself. It is the result, so cause and effect. Because there was an earthquake, the result or the effect is the ground opened up. It made a crack. Lower one down here, you have a volcano erupting. You can see the smoke. You can see kind of how the ground down here is changing. So what you're going to do at the bottom of this page is you're going to compare and contrast. So you're going to tell me how earthquakes and volcanoes are alike. So you're just comparing them. You're just telling me how they are alike. They are alike in the way that they're changing the earth. Is it a fast change or is it a slow change? That's the comparison I'm looking for on page 140. Please make sure that you write in a complete sentence. The next thing we can talk about are the words that I was referring to at the beginning. Weathering and erosion. So this is page 141. Weathering and erosion change land slowly. So earthquakes and volcanoes change land quickly. Weathering and erosion change things slowly. So weathering is when water, ice, or wind breaks down rocks into small pieces. Okay, so it's breaking it down, making it smaller. Erosion is when wind, water, or other causes move rocks and soil. So erosion is when the rocks and stuff move. Weathering is when it gets broken down into small pieces. Erosion is when it's moved. Weathering and erosion can take a long time. So here in this first picture, you have an example of weathering. Okay, over time, this rock has been wet and then it freezes, wet and then freezes, wet and then freezes, and what happens is the result is a crack. All right, so it's breaking it down. Here we have erosion. What happens is the water goes up to the beach and it's actually pulling it away. So it's taking it away. It's not breaking it down into smaller pieces, it's just taking it away. So you need to circle what causes weathering up at the top of your page. You need to underline the causes of erosion. And down here, you need to write one change to land that happens fast. So put that here. And down here, you can write one change that happens slowly. So I'm looking for a fast change, which would either be erosion, weathering, or one of the other things that we talked about on a previous page. Same for the things that happen slowly. So you're going to have lots of words that you can choose from. You might want to pause the video and look back in your book. Mom and Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, whoever, if you are able to, if you have access to some sand, I would strongly suggest that you put some sand in one end of a pan, like a baking pan, cake pan, and make sure that end is raised a little bit. And then slowly pour water over that sand and see what happens. If you can do that, go ahead and record your answers down here. If you can't, I understand, but that might be a fun thing for you to do since we are at home. The next thing we're going to talk about is water changes the land. Water causes weathering in some rocks. The rocks get weaker and break apart. Water causes weathering. So remember when I told you those rocks were freezing, they were getting wet, they were freezing, getting wet? Well, that's what happens. Water can get into cracks in the rocks, and when water freezes, it grows larger. So if you have ice in the freezer, if you have water in the freezer, if you've ever stuck a bottle of water in there, the bottle of water will expand as it freezes because the ice needs more space. So it grows larger, and that ice pushes against the sides. Now, when it does that with a rock, it actually cracks the rock, and over the years, the rock can actually break apart. Okay? So over here, they're wanting you to write one or two words that you could say caused this rock to break apart. If you were writing a book and you had this picture in your book and you were telling people about rocks breaking apart, what would you say about this picture? What's causing it to break apart? That's what you should write there. Water can carry weathered materials to other places. This is erosion by water. So rain can carry away soil from farms. Waves can cause erosion along the shore. Rivers carry bits of rock from one place to another. Glaciers can also cause erosion. A glacier moves slowly. It wears away bits of rock and soil and carries them off. At the bottom down here, they're asking you to draw arrows to show which way you think the ocean waves move the sand to form the beach. So, did the waves move it this way to form the beach, or did it move this way to form the beach? You decide. You draw the arrows and decide which way you think it might be going. Talk it over with your grown-up. See what they think. We're going to stop on this page. On page 143, I think that I'm hoping that we'll be back in school by then. If not, look for more videos on other causes of erosion.